Hello again. We are doing our overview of the labor and the birth. Often forgotten and emphasis on other things, the breathing and the meditation is something that we place a lot of value and emphasis on for everyone to prepare. And learning to do it in a certain way is helpful, although many of you probably already you practice breathing, you practice meditation without knowing so, or you go through yoga or classes that help you with this. Even despite that, because it is so often downplayed, the importance of breathing, because now we have drugs, we have other methods, and it's almost considered an old-fashioned way of going through labor to focus on the breathing. I find that most people are not well enough prepared with this part. And essentially, breathing and meditation, it's nothing that has only to do with birth. It is something that we should probably all be practicing more, just to sometimes take things down a notch, to take ourselves through the challenges of what we're going through in life. I always say, for example, when PCCW doesn't show up on time, then you can do your meditation. Anything you go through that needs a little bit more, control and calmness, a breath and some happy thoughts are always going to take you a long way. But you may need to be reminded. So with childbirth, it's the same thing. And it could be something that you use throughout the whole of the labor. And it might be something that you use for a short period. Even through a cesarean section or breastfeeding a baby afterwards. That's always helpful. So I'm going to put together for you in 3 minutes the routine of what I suggest that you practice every day. Every time you sit in a taxi, every time you take a 1-minute ride in an elevator, and every time you go into bed at night. It does not have to be 20 minutes, it can just be a minute or 2. The good thing is, as I've said before, that your uterus does most of this work for you while you're going through labor, but you can help it. Relaxing, breathing deeper, breathing slower, take your blood pressure down, take your heartbeat down, maximize the efficiency of what's going on in your body. The breathing plays a major role in it. I'm going to separate this into breathing for labor and breathing for the birth or the pushing. For labor, first of all, you will have your contractions, your tightenings in your tummy every 5 to 10 minutes. Maybe, roughly. You don't have to do particular breathing in between. So think of this as a method that you will apply for around 1 minute every 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes you're active, moving around. Sometimes you're lying in bed or somewhere relaxed. Doesn't matter. Every time a contraction comes, it will last about 1 minute. And what you want to do is you want to find a relaxed position. You want your shoulders completely down. And most of us, we're tight here, so you need to think about it. Face, tongue, jaws, and shoulders. 4 things. And this goes for partners as well. So if you want to remind your partner while you're in labor what to do, face, tongue, jaws, shoulders, 4 things. We're not going to like they did in the 50s. We are going to breathe out with either closed mouth or very slightly open mouth. And we also don't have to take very deep, long breaths. They need to be deep enough to find the peace, find the calm. But if they're too deep, particularly if you inhale too deep, you'll be out of breath before the exhaling is done, and then it will all go a bit wrong. So think of it as inhaling at the count of 4 and exhaling at the count of 8. So twice as long when you exhale than what you inhale. And think of it as something that you would do if you were swimming, diving, or if anyone knows about singing. You want to extend the breath in a comfortable way so that the body sort of goes with it, relaxed. So let me go back. You relax your face, your tongue, your jaws, and your shoulders. And you want to count to 4. And you want to exhale on the count of 8. If you were swimming, you'd be without effort. You should never be out of breath, but you feel relaxed after. For singing, and so it can go on and on and on, because the airflow is limited. The back of the throat, nice and slow. There is no good. When you're 10 centimeters dilated, remember our picture, and the urge to bear down, the feeling of needing to push becomes overbearing. You're not gonna through it anymore. You will need to push, you'll need to bear down, you'll need to use your diaphragm to kind of bear down. Best way to think of this is imagine that you were sat on the toilet and you were doing what you would do on the toilet. If you blow out air, the pressure is going to be less, so you're going to push less, essentially. So normally you need to do more of a... You don't want to get bright red in your face, you don't want to hold your breath, but you want to use your diaphragm to fully bear down, and you tilt your pelvis. Now is not the time to go into details about this, but I'm only saying that there's a slight difference between the pushing, the breathing you do there, and the labor from 0 to 10 centimeters. While you do your breathing, it's also important to think about something, obviously. And for some, you would have very specific thoughts. You would divert your thoughts and your thinking into a specific event or something that feels peaceful and calm. For others, it's about engaging in the labor and feeling what the body's going through. This is up to you. But it is good to think about that every time you're doing those breaths, you want to do 3 or 4. You want to take your mind somewhere where it's calm, it's peaceful, it's positive. There's a break after, and then it starts again. So if there's a meditation or something that feels calm and positive for you, then bring that into those breathing cycles. Thank you.